Pals, it's getting hot outside. It's been in the 90s the last couple days, so many of us are thinking about how can we get that lake place? How can we add that to our portfolio of real estate? So let's go over how to buy a lake house, or if it's winter and you're watching this, how to buy a ski house. So it starts with how do you intend to occupy the property? Is it mostly going to be an investment property? Are you going to live in it full time? Or is it going to be a second home where you occupy the property part of the year? And so I'm going to spend most of the time today talking about a second home, but just know if it's an investment property, it's definitely more expensive. It becomes, the rates are going to be higher, the down payments are going to be higher, and all those kind of requirements are going to be higher. Now, on an investment property, you could use income from that property to qualify. So that if you maybe have some money in the bank but are having trouble qualifying, you can go down the investment route. But you would need to have a renter in place and all those kind of things. As a second home, you need to occupy the property part-time. And there's some gray area in that, so reach out to your lender as you're going through it and trying to think, maybe I want to put some Airbnb on this or whatever. You can do that, but make sure you discuss that with your lender, because you don't want to get into it's more of an investment property than a second home, because that's occupancy fraud, and that's no good for anybody. Okay, so as a second home, it's going to have to be a conventional loan. That's the requirement. You can't use your VA loan to purchase a second home. You can't use an FHA or a USDA loan to purchase a second home. So with that being said, let's just kind of talk about the kind of the qualification stuff. Credit-wise, you're going to have to qualify for a conventional loan. So your credit's going to have to be a little bit higher. There's going to be debt-to-income ratio limits. And now remember, if you're buying a second home and you have a current mortgage, you're going to have to qualify with both payments. And then debt-to-income ratio on conventional is capped at 50%. That's a hard stop. 50.1 won't work. So with those kind of things, there may even be some lender requirements that require a little bit lower debt-to-income ratio. The down payment, the minimum on a second home is 10%. Now, if you only put 10% down on a second home, you're going to be paying mortgage insurance, so that will make your monthly costs higher. And then with kind of what Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have done recently by adding some lender overlays that increase the rates by trying to decrease their portfolio of investment properties and second homes. So the rates are higher. They've made it a little bit harder to do. So that's something to think about too. But if you do the minimum, chances are your rates are going to be a little bit higher than if you put a little bit more down and those kind of things, because a second home is a risk for a lender, because it's more people will let those go than they do their primary. In terms of the closing costs, once you get the down payment stuff down, the closing costs are pretty similar to those of a regular mortgage. I've done another video on that that's maybe worth watching, but the closing costs are pretty similar. You'll have your taxes, your insurance, your title fees, your lender fees, if there's mortgage insurance, all those kind of things. But one added fee on a second home may be flood insurance. Now, I can't guarantee this, you're going to have it or you're not going to have it, but chances are you may have that depending on where your property is. And if you do have that, that's definitely an expensive added cost to the process. Other things you may be required to have, you're going to have reserves to show a couple months of, if something doesn't go right, we can still make our payments because we have some extra money in the bank. And then when you're buying a second home, one of the things you need to think about is there's maintenance on those homes at the lake, the river, the ocean, those kind of things typically wear a little bit faster, so maintenance is going to be a little bit higher. And then obviously you're going to have a second set of furniture, second set of everything that goes outside. You may need a boat, all those kind of things. So all the costs that extra, you're going to have to think about those up front too. It'd be worth reaching out to people around the neighborhood before you that what are your typical maintenance costs. Ask your friends on those kind of things, because I can't quote you on that. A couple requirements on getting a conventional loan on a second home. There's no duplexes, so the property has to be a one unit. And then again, I spoke of this earlier, but you're going to have to occupy the property part of the year. And again, there's no like hard and fast rule on that, but you have to be the primary owner. So reach out to a lender to ask questions if you have a certain scenario, like you're buying a lake place, but you're going to do some Airbnb or some VRBO with it, but you want to live in it or during the summers or whatever. Reach out to a lender and go over your specific situation with that lender prior to making an offer, going out house hunting and all those kind of things. Again, qualification, because you're qualifying typically with 2 mortgage payments, may be a little bit of a challenge. It may not, but you'll never know until you reach out to a lender. So if you have any questions on buying a lake place, buying a ski place, buying any type of second home, investment property, or even your primary residence, I'm Tony Byrne with Heritage Home Loans, and I'd love to help you. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.